Good morning. It's Jeff Williams from Veterans United Against Suicide. This is the third video in the Royal Marines at Deal, January 1974, 92 troop. Some of the funnies that happened, because it was funny, when I look back at it now, it was really hilarious. We had some great laughs and some great character building taking place, team building, and it was just amazing. But one of there's several things that stick in my mind, but I just was telling my grandson about it the other day, actually. Most of you remember that at some stage in those first 20 weeks, before you go to Lympstone and do the remainder 16, we did a boxing. I think the Army call it milling or something like that, but we had a boxing, it wasn't a tournament, it was just like, right, stand in the middle of that ring and punch 10 balls out of each other. And my dad had been a really good boxer, I think I've said that already. So we'd had a little bit of practice in the back garden before I joined up and stuff, always got beat up. But anyway, the day we had the PT session and the gloves come out were just absolutely massive gloves. No head guards or anything like that back in them days. I don't even think we even had a gum shield, if I'm honest. And they paired us all off. And as in true Jeff Williams style, I got a raw deal in my opinion. There was a guy in my room actually called Kev Lavender. Guy from up north, quite a tall lad. And lovely bloke, but he'd boxed for the ABA championships before he joined up. And I knew about that because we spoke about it in the room quite often. And anyway, I thought of all the people in the troop, the one bloke I don't want is Kev Lavender. So they start, pairing everybody off, and we're watching a fight, and literally they're all screaming at him just to punch 10 balls out of each other, show a bit of character. And then they paired us all off as in height, really, more than anything else, and weight. And the next thing I know is the training team look at Kev Lavender and go, right, Lavender. And I thought, great, get him out the way. And then all of a sudden, we'll fight Jeff Williams. And I thought, oh my God, no, not Kev Lavender. So I said we were really good mates. So I said, look, Kev, I said, don't hurt me. I said, I'm quite a good looking bloke. Like, I don't want my nose all smashed up and stuff. And he goes, don't worry about it, Jeff. He said, we'll just go in there and we'll just like shadow box. I said, a good idea. He said, I want it, yeah. He said, and if I do, I'll pull the punches and stuff like that. He said, and you just move around. He said, and just sort of swing your arms a bit. So I said, yeah, that sounds like a plan. So anyway, it was a couple more fights and it was our turn. So I guess up on the ring. I didn't realise how much courage it takes to do it, to be honest with you. My dad used to wake me up in the middle of the night to watch Muhammad Ali fight and stuff. So I'd always been brought around boxing, but never actually had a real go at it. Fancied my chances, to be fair. I mean, come to street fights, I'd get stuck in, but, boxing's a completely different matter. So anyway, we get up in the ring, and the bell goes ding ding. So I come on, moving around, and just like throwing my arm out really, really gently. And the training team went absolutely mental because they knew exactly what we were doing. Hit him, you big pussy, or whatever they were giving it. What for? So anyway, I thought I'm going to have to hit him, or try to anyway, because they ain't happy. I've never really given it some, and the team were as well, the troops. So anyway, I remember bringing my arm back here somewhere like that, and it comes straight down over the top of his guard and hit him. And it shook him, to be honest with you. I really gave him a good old bang. And I just saw this change of expression on Kev's face. And the next thing I knew, I was about 5 paces backwards with him going bang, 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 these jabs. And I hit me shot in the nose, top of the head, on my face. Head was rocking back. And I was quite I was quite tough, if I'm honest with you. I could look after myself anyway. So I lost my temper. So I ended up just going mad at him. And he just kept moving out the way. I was throwing arms like a bloody, I don't know, like a bloody windmill. We're going all over the place. And anyway, all he kept doing was moving out the way. Bang, bang. Anyway, the bell rang, thank God. I don't know, is it 3-minute rounds or whatever they are? It's in like 3 days. And I sat down. And this bloke says, doing really well, Jeff, doing well. I said, doing well? My head, I felt like my brain was rattling around in my head. I said, I can't do this. I said, well, he's mad. I don't mind dishing it out, but I don't mind bloody taking it. So keep moving. You're doing all right. You're doing all right. So again, you get a bit of water and off you go. Back into the mixer. Anyway, it goes in there. Bang, bang, bang. Really got stuck in. Kev thought, you're peeing me off now, Jeff. Bang, bang, bang again. Right in my face. Like, boom, boom. I could feel my face swelling up. I thought, Jesus Christ. And the crowd were going mad. And the training team were loving it. So that was the end of the second round. I sat down and I didn't even know who I was. You all right, Jeff? Who's Jeff? I couldn't clue where I am. That was 2 rounds. It's amazing how much it takes out of you. I mean, I look at Davey's boxing career with envy. I think, God, how did you do that? Just to get involved with the boxing training on the ships when we used to go places and stuff. But I just didn't realise how fit you had to be. Anyway, the 3rd round started and he starts punching me in the face again. And I thought, enough's enough. So I really gave him what for. I ended up wrestling with him, trying to kick him, punch him and headbutt him, and got disqualified and thrown out the ring. But I remember at the end of it, everyone said, oh, well done, well done. I said, well done. Honestly, my head was, I think I had a headache for about 3 days later. He absolutely battered me. And watching the other lads do it was so funny, people like jumping up on their toes. And I thought, God almighty, mate, it wouldn't last 5 minutes in Chandley Wood in Birmingham. But there we go, that was the boxing, that was quite funny. And then there was another time when we were doing section attacks. And like I said, Mick Harrison was really tough on us. And, well, it was that time of year when the brambles just starting to blossom, that yellow stuff comes out and that. And we're advancing to contact, and it all kicked off. So I was the section commander on this particular one, that's why I remember it. And he said, enemy right. And we all went down to cover, observed, moved around a little bit and went, right, okay, and we gave a fire control order, bracketed onto the target, and then machine gun open fired and stuff like that. And we're trying to win the firefight. And he said something about, get them guys moving, you're static too long. So I get something zigzags about 3 or 4 paces and then dives. I think it was 7 paces we used to do, about 7 or 8 paces, and then dive down under cover. And as I come up to this bush, there's this massive gorse bush in front of me, and I couldn't see anything. And there was just a gap between these 2 gorse bushes. Now, this gorse bush was about 6 foot high at least, maybe 7 foot, and really thick. And there was a gap in between the 2. And of course, I ran straight through the gap. Stop, he said, stop. Stopped the whole thing. I thought, what have I done wrong? It makes sense to run through there. He went, right. What did you do that for? I said, there's a 7 foot bloody high gorse bush in front of me. Couldn't see anything. It was the only way I could get round it was to go round it. He said, no, it wasn't. So you could have gone through it. I went, nah. I said, it's massive. And he went, are you trying to tell me you couldn't get over that gorse bush? No, sorry, he did say that, but before that he said, why did you go in the gap? He said, because the enemy would have the gaps covered. And he said, you'd have run through there, you've been wasted. He said, that's just not how we do it. Royal Marines don't do that. He said, you needed to move tactically around it or through it or over it. And I thought, well, honestly, there's no way in the world I've ever got over it. He gave me a right hard time. And he said, just to prove that you can do it, he said, I want you to run through it. So I had to scramble over it in my denims. I did have combats on, combats probably. I remember we used to call it the Woodbury Rash. I remember getting back after that, and we sat in our room because they told us about Woodbury Rash. What happens is the little things, the little thorns and that, they break off in your skin, and then they get all septic, with a spot with all pus and rubbish like that. So we used to pick them out after the section attacks and stuff once we got back to the room. And I was absolutely covered. I can't tell you where I had them. I had them everywhere. I had the whole bleeding. There was 6 of us, well, 6 including me, picking these bleeding thorns out of me. That was quite funny, really, when I think back on it. That was hilarious. And then there was, the final one I want to tell you about was we'd been up, I think we'd been up at Coldblow. And we'd been out that week doing all sorts of fieldcraft, but we were doing stalking the enemy. So I fancied my chances because even at that stage, I was Commando 1 at times. I was never going to die. And what they did was the training team got some beer, and there's about 6 of them, and they built a massive fire, and they were sat round the fire having a bit of a banyan, bit of a laugh and giggle, and we were out in the field, and they told us to approach the position, and we'd find some enemy sitting around a fire, which obviously was them, and crawled up and had a look, and a couple of us usually took the lead. I think it was Tough Layer and Mickey Bard. And I looked at them and I said, what do you reckon? They went, bollocks to that. And what they'd done is they'd put a ring of beer, cans of beer, round the location. So if you imagine the fire, then 6 people sat round it, and then about 10 yards back, they put a ring of beer, and then another 10 yards back, they'd done a ring of beer. And there was absolutely loads of wets there. And what they said was, if we could get the beer, we could have it. But it was quite light. Say at 20 metres out, you got a good chance. So anyway, I thought, come on, let's go for it. So I'm on my hands and knees crawling along the ground. Gets a can of beer, goes back, and we decide, about 5 of us, that we'll keep doing it, and we'll collect the beer, and then we'll share it out afterwards. I've got to be honest with you, I think I did most of the donkey work. I got absolutely loads. But when we got to the second ring, which was a lot closer to them, we kept getting chased off. And every time you got chased off, obviously you'd have to start again. And we did that for about 3 hours. Anyway, come the end of it, no word of a lie, I had about 10 cans. And I started necking them, passing them around and drinking them and stuff like that. And I remember in the morning, I had a bit of a hangover, to be honest with you. I've been in the field and I got drunk. No, I didn't get drunk, but I was in a mess. And we had a bloody speed march back. Oh, for God's sake. And I remember Mick Harrison saying to me, I always remember it, I wasn't in the top first 3. There was 3 ranks. There was 3 guys in front, and I was in the second group behind them. And that was normally where the training team would be, either second or third, normally to your right, watching the road and all the rest of it. And he was running alongside me, and I was blowing out my arsehole. I was really blowing. And he looked at me and he said, "You were a big man yesterday, weren't you, Mr. Williams, or Junior Marine Williams?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm regretting it now." He said, "Yeah." He said, "We'll see what you're made of." He said, "We're going to push you all the way back and see what happens." And we speed marched on the way back. I felt sick, but I wouldn't be sick. But the blokes were all moaning because I kept farting. And my breath stunk of booze, and it was putting them off with the run. But we got back, and the rest history. Obviously, another bit of ticking the right box, really. But stalking up on the training team was really, really good fun. And they never let you forget it. It was a game to them as well. They loved it. I mean, they were hard with us, like I keep saying. But I remember the last day at Deal when we had we all got together, and the training team came over, and they said, well, everybody will tell you, we were the worst troop. They told us about 50 times we were the worst troop that had ever gone through Royal Marine training. But when I spoke to people afterwards, every troop was told that at some stage or other, just to keep you moving, I think. And I was having a few beers, and Mick Harrison and a couple of the other guys come across. And I was sat there, and they turned and said, good luck at Lympstone. You do well. I said, oh, thanks very much. He said, oh, by the way, he said, you got a nickname? I said, have I? Because everybody called me Jeff, all the lads. He said, it's Bungie. I said, what's Bungie to do with anything? He said, I honestly don't know. He said, but all Williamses are called Bungie, like Smiths are called Smudge, and Busters are called Brown. Brown are called Busters or whatever. And it starts railing off all these nicknames. And that didn't actually stick until I finished my commando training. I turned around and then I realised it was Bungie. But great days. You know, I look back on it with fond memories. It was hard. Yeah, it needed to be. You know, what was going to be, it was preparing me for a 22 years of active service. I didn't spend, obviously, 22 years active service, but I've spent an awful lot of time in commando units. And it did set me up. And like they used to say, it gets everybody to the start line. You know, when you join a commando unit, you're just really starting to learn the job, if I'm honest with you. You know, you're the new lads and all the rest of it. And we had a lot to learn, but everyone gave you respect. You know, you might be a sprog, as they used to call you. And you got a bit of hard time until you prove yourself, really. Because most of these guys I joined in my first troop, they'd all done Aden and Borneo, and the stories used to fascinate me. I used to think, bloody hell, guys, you've been through all that. And I wasn't to know, but within weeks of me joining 4-1 Commando in Malta, I would actually be involved in active service myself in the UN tour of Cyprus when the Turks invaded. So as an 18-year-old, if I hadn't had the right training and the preparation, you know, I wouldn't have felt as comfortable as I did and as accepted as I did. But before I knew where I was, the Turks were there, were the enemy. And we were protecting isolated villages in the north. We were in a village called Androlikou. If you ever look up on the map, it's just in the mountains near Polis. But that was me at 18. So that's all I wanted to say, really, was about the fun, because there's fun in games and there's 100 other more stories, you know. But it was very, very serious. Very, you know, we are going to prepare you to be a Royal Marine Commando. And you're going to have to do what you have to do. And if you don't make it, like so many of our troop, I think one of the guys, I speak to one of the guys because of the videos yesterday, I think there was something like 56 joined up and only 11 passed out. So that tells you the wastage that you used to get. And I was determined not to be one of those that didn't make it. There we go. Jeff Williams, look after yourself. Great talking to you all. Thanks for the positive feedback. It helped me a lot. It's helping other guys as well, which is more importantly. I had several guys phone me yesterday and say, God, yeah, do you remember Deal? And then they, you know, they're reminiscing about their history. And like I said yesterday, when you're feeling down, look on the bright side of life. You know, I had a bit of a reputation as being a bit of a smiler and always having a giggle about it. Never took it too serious unless I needed to. You know, you got to have downtime and the rest of it. But well done, all the guys that did it. And I hope you enjoy this video. Please leave a comment. Happy for you to share it. This is video number 3 of what it takes to be a Royal Marine. Thank you. Look after yourself, everybody. Bye-bye.